I'm here, don't worry. All right, you guys, hopefully this is coming through clear. Sorry, I am late. YouTube did not allow me to get on. Like, it just kept booting me off. So we're going to see how long this lasts. If you have the ability to comment down below and let me know that I'm coming through clearly, that would be amazing. I have you guys in the magic spot right here over my shoulder. So if you can see me and I'm coming through clearly, please comment down below. We're going to go ahead and make chicken rice tonight. I've done some pre-chopping already. I've even chopped the onions already, which is why I want to get going because it's getting a little strong up in here. This recipe is in my cookbook on page 93. If you have not purchased the cookbook yet, I have a huge sale going on right now in the cookbook. So the link is down below. Check it out. I've been selling quite a few of them at the sale price. So if you're interested, it's down below. But this recipe is on page 93. And we're just going to get rolling. Tonight I am using pre-cooked chicken, but you could also use raw chicken if you want. The reason why I'm using pre-cooked chicken is because when we butcher our chickens every year, I cook a whole bunch of them down to save freezer space. And then I take all of the meat off and freeze them in 1 pound packages. All right, I'm going to move you. Hopefully I don't lose you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use a Dutch oven, but you could use any deep pot to do this. So since I'm using cast iron, I'm going to go over medium heat. If you're using stainless steel, you could go over medium high. Perfectly fine. I'm going to be using my new cheese. It's in a tube that I'm not 100% in love with, but I love the flavor, by the way. I talked about this in my recent Azure Standard haul. This was the brand that I went with because the other brand was out for 2 months in a row. And I needed some butter, and I did not want to support Walmart. So we need 4 tablespoons of butter. Now, a little bit of a forewarning. I'm going to be doubling this because I'm making half of this for my neighbor as a freezer meal. They just had a baby, so I'm going to go bless them with a meal tomorrow. All right, so I need a lot more than 4 tablespoons. We're going to get it melting in the pan over here. I'm probably just going to eyeball it, you guys, instead of measuring it out because it is kind of a mess. So, because I'm looking at 8 tablespoons, which is like a half a cup. So I'm going to say like that much. Like I said, not in love with the tube, but I love the taste of this particular butter. All right, so medium heat. We've got, I'm going to give you the ingredients for just one recipe, which serves 8 people. So we have 4 tablespoons of butter over medium heat in this pan here. We're going to add 1 yellow onion. And like I said, I'm doubling it. Hey, Jackie. I'm so glad I'm coming through okay because I was having trouble once again with YouTube. All right, so 1 yellow onion, and then we're going to add, my recipe calls for 1 1/2 of a red bell pepper and 1 1/2 of a green, but I wanted to do yellow. So we're going to do yellow and red bell peppers. I already chopped these because I was going to save some time. I'm going to be making a whole nother freezer meal on top of this one for the neighbors they don't know about yet. I'm going to go over and surprise them tomorrow with 2 freezer meals. And if I'm feeling energetic, I might even make some cinnamon rolls. We'll see. I'm not going to promise that one, though, because I'm actually going to be gone tomorrow morning. So next ingredient is a garlic clove. We've got 3 of them. If you've never chopped a garlic clove before, don't worry. I used to not even know what a garlic clove was. So what you're going to do is it comes in a little bunch, and they all are kind of bunched together like this, right? And you just kind of break one off. And you've got a hard end right here. That's what we need to chop off. And once that happens, sometimes the skin will release, but not all the time. So let's just say the skin didn't release on this one. Then I just lay it back down on my cutting board and take my knife sideways. And I just bop it just a little bit, and that skin just releases right off of the garlic clove. Or you can have one of those fancy peelers. I don't. I've actually never tried one of those. It's kind of the last thing on my mind. But would gladly accept one if someone wants to mail one to me. I think they even have like garlic rollers too, where it looks like a silicone roll and you just put them all in there and roll. I don't know if you still have to chop off the end or not when you use those things. So I'm making the chicken fajita rice as a freezer meal for the neighbor, or a postpartum meal for the neighbor. And then also making chicken enchiladas, which is also inside my cookbook. It's under creamy chicken enchiladas. I think it's on page 84, but don't quote me on that one. It always like makes me have a big old smile on my face when I ask somebody, do you have any food preferences or allergies or anything? And they're like, nope. I'm like, yes. That's awesome. That means my brain can completely explore all the possibilities of what food I want to make for you. And then I can show up to your house with a ton of meals instead of just one. All right, so I'm doubling the garlic, so nobody get worried here. For just one recipe, you only need 3. It's gorgeous weather out today. It rained on and off all morning, which I was thankful for. But gorgeous afternoon. I should have really been out in the garden doing something. I don't know how that goes. Other things had to take priority, so that's that. But I have started planting my garden. Usually we don't plant anything that's frost intolerant before May 15th, but we're so warm already that we're done. Our last frost was a while ago, so. In worst case scenario, I only planted 12 of them, so I'll just go dig them up if there's a last second frost or something I don't know about coming. All right. So the butter is just now melted. This is going to start sauteing. And I was going to do this before the live, but then I figured why. In this 1 gallon container is a whole bunch of rice, brown rice. So down to the description box is a list of all of the ingredients that you need to make this meal. And I do that because some people like to go grocery shopping after my lives or even before my lives and buy the ingredients that you need to make it. So one of the ingredients down in the description box is brown rice that's been fermented, or you can totally make this meal with cauliflower rice. I've done it before. You would add your cauliflower rice right now and allow it to saute and steam up and everything with all these other veggies. And then also if you have raw chicken, that would be chopped up and put in here ahead of time. But you sure can make this a yummy, grain-free meal with cauliflower rice. Okay, so back to the rice. If you don't know how to soak and ferment rice, I have a video up here on the channel. I have several actually. I have a whole playlist of how to properly prepare grains, but soaking and fermenting. So the reason why I'm doing this is because when you soak a grain, or in this case rice, what you're doing is you're starting to remove the phytic acid and the enzyme inhibitors that are in the seed, because these are seeds. Same thing with beans, etc. The reason why we want to remove that, or at least start to neutralize it, is because if you eat this without soaking it, then it's going to bind to things in your body like calcium and zinc and a long list of other things. So basically your food becomes an anti-nutrient. If we were to take this, just a plain rice granule or what have you, or a bean, go plant it out into the garden, that bean is going to, the phytic acid within that is going to bind to those same things inside the soil. So that's why we soak, and then we're going to take it another step further in just a second. That's why we soak our rice, beans, seeds of the earth. Now, I ferment this stuff, which is just like an extended soak, really. It sounds like it would be complicated, but it's not. The reason why I ferment rice and beans and all that sort of thing is because when you ferment them, and this is raw, that has not been cooked yet, you multiply the nutrients within the food, for number one. And for number two, you break down the stuff that's inside beans and rice that makes you bloated and full of gas. So a lot of times I've had a ton of comments on my videos about people who have tried fermenting rice and beans and have not eaten those things for years because it caused so much digestional upset and gas and bloating, and their pants couldn't fit the next day and all sorts of stuff down to the comments. But now that's gone with just a simple fermenting. So anyway, I do have an entire playlist up here on the channel on how to do this if you're wondering how to do it. I have step-by-step instructions. I love it because when you ferment something, you're multiplying the nutrients and you're unlocking the nutrients for your family, which fills them up faster. So it's a major, major budget stretcher. So anyway, this has been soaking and fermenting. So I needed to take this over to the sink and dump the fermenting liquid out, just water and apple cider vinegar in this case. I could have used whey. I had tons of whey because we made cheese last week, and I'm so not used to having whey inside the house that I forgot I had it. Just giving the meal a stir over here. We're just sauteing everything, okay? So I'm going to go and dump this into, well, probably just going to, let's see about this. I'm going to take one of these mesh. I'm just going to stick it over the lid. I'm going to invert it over the sink and let all the liquid go on out, and then it'll be ready to cook. So I'm going to go do that. Be right back, you guys. All right. The other question I get is fermented beans and rice. What kind of recipe do you use those in? Do they taste any different? So my answer is the rice gets just slightly tangy. But if you're going to use it in a recipe where you're adding seasonings or sour cream, you can't even tell. That's just a very, very slight taste. Now with the beans, when you go to ferment beans, if you go longer than my recommended 3 days, they are, in my opinion, way too strong. If you just ferment them for 3 days, there's no flavor change at all. But something happens from day number 3 to day number 4. I don't know what. But they get really strong. And then, of course, you're going to be able to taste it. All right. I also had somebody ask on the channel as well as pertains to fermented beans. What I typically do is I ferment my beans and my rice actually and put them in freezer bags inside my freezer after I get done. Like right now, the next step would be to remove all of this after it's been drained and put it into freezer bags. That way when I'm making meals, I can just go to the freezer and get stuff that's already fermented, soaked and fermented, okay? But I have in the past, when I have nothing else to do, which is a rarity with 5 children, homeschooling and a homestead. But anyway, I have in the past taken my soaked and fermented beans and I have canned them. You sure can. We cook all of the fermented rice and beans. This rice is still very much crunchy. The beans are still very much crunchy when you do the same process. And so you sure can cook them or can them. And so the whole process of canning fermented beans is basically taking them after you've rinsed them, put them in a big pot, submerge them in water, you simmer them for 30 minutes, and then fill your canning jars just to the shoulders. And then process as normal, okay? But you can totally do that as well with fermented beans. We're not fermenting them to capture the beneficial probiotics. I gotta turn on the light. There we go. We're not after the benefits. It's still dark in here. Maybe I will leave the light on. We're not after the beneficial probiotics. It's not why we're fermenting our grains. So that's why we cook it afterwards. We are after the multiplication, like I said, of the nutrients and the breaking down of the items within that grain or beans that make you bloat and make you fart. So That's what we're after. We are just a few seconds away from this being translucent. We're going till the onions are translucent, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. What's everybody having for dinner tonight? Comment down below and let me know. I made a $1 million spaghetti yesterday for dinner with breadsticks. That was really good. We're actually making our own goat cheese now because I have so much milk coming into the house. And so I actually got to use goat milk ricotta and goat milk mozzarella in that dish for the $1 million spaghetti. It was super good. I know there's quite a few of you guys that are grain-free here. And if you're grain-free, something that's amazing that I learned before was, I know I'm going to say this, people are going, oh, I made that, but zucchini lasagna. But instead of putting the zucchini into the lasagna raw, cut them up like you would the long way so they look like a lasagna noodle. And then bake them with some salt on top, maybe a little bit of garlic powder. And you bake them until they are soft. I've actually baked them to a point where the bottom gets kind of crispy. And then put them into your lasagna. Anyway, it makes your lasagna so that, ooh, Jackie's having steak. That sounds good. It makes it so that your grain-free lasagna isn't so watery with that zucchini in there. Because you're baking it first. So I'll just throw that out there. That's what I used to do when we were on the GAPS diet, so we could still have lasagna. Of course, you can't have mozzarella on the GAPS diet, so we had to use alternative harder cheeses, but it was good for the grain-free portion of working your way into the GAPS diet. All right. God, it smells lovely in here. Just throw a couple of eggs in there and you'd be set. All right, so to this, we are going to add 14 ounces of diced tomatoes. I have a big jar, remember I'm doubling this because I gotta send half of it to my neighbor. Gotta find my can opener. That's not a good thing to be missing right about now. I wonder if it made it into the dishwasher. Just might have. I'm gonna have to do a search. Some people have this belief that you have to wash it every time you use it. Not in the dishwasher. There's a lot of steam in the dishwasher though. I just got a good facial, I'll tell you that much. Alright, I'm going to look one more time into the drawer. And then I'm going to ask the children, where did you guys put the can opener? I don't know. Might have to get a hand. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get a, I'm going to check this other counter, and I'm going to go get a home can one instead. Because that'll be quicker. Alright, we're going to open up my home canned one instead, okay? I actually canned these when we were still living off-grid, so my kitchen was like completely outside. Uh-oh, if I can get it open. Maybe not. There it goes. Alright. Ha! Found my can opener. Inside the wrong drawer, you guys. Hey, Missy, thanks for stopping in. No, Jackie, I never heard from Carl. I'm thinking my gut feeling is not good. I was trying to, I'm pretty sure he lived in North Carolina. Like, we had some correspondence there for a while, but I don't have... I mean, it might have his old emails. You know how like your email like deletes stuff after 30 days? And it's been like 5 months now since I've heard from Carl. So I don't think I have his old emails, but I should go back and check because I did have his address, so like I could like look him up, you know, look online for obituaries and stuff. It's just weird that he hasn't been here on the channel in 5 months. That's definitely not normal for him. All right, so there's my diced tomatoes. Wrong drawer for the can opener. Oh well, this can will go towards a different meal. It's okay. All right, next item going in here is 4 cups of broth. If I can get it open. Okay, I'm doubling it. So I did just want to say something because you guys can notice I have the reusable Tattler lids. I don't know how many of you guys watch the Needy Homesteader, but she just had a video out about reusable canning lids. And I guess if you bought Harvest, is it Harvest Made? Harvest, I think it's Harvest Made brand because it looks just like these, but it's not Tattler's. I guess there was like a section of time where they were actually selling rubber gaskets that were not reusable. They were like one-time use only, and just this plastic top is reusable. So I just want to encourage you that if you're interested in reusable canning lids, make Tattler lids for them because they guarantee that their seals will last 10 to 12 years a piece. This is a BPA-free lid. I got into these back in 2020 when there was a tin shortage, whatever that means. And I started thinking, well, what if everybody else goes for the canning lids as well during a pandemic and then there are none? And right now, these reusable canning lids that are good for 10 to 12 years, you guys, are the same price as disposable. So go check it out if you're interested. It's reusablecanninglids.com. I love them. I have had a few fails on some of them. There's a little bit of a learning curve. It's a little bit different than a typical canning lid, but it's not that hard, guys. You guys just practice with water. You'll totally get it. But anyway, these save so much money. And then at the end of 10 to 12 years, when this gasket is looking rough, you can buy new ones of these. They're like 10 cents a piece from the company. So, and they have thousands of these in stock. So, reusablecanninglids.com. It's something that I have incorporated into my homestead so that we can be more, you know, self-reliant against shortages. All right. And they do have wide mouth and regular mouth lids. All right, so we've got everything in here. I've increased my heat up to medium high with cast iron. This is enameled. If you're in a regular pot, go ahead and crank it up to high. And then we are going to add, the recipe calls for, 1 pound of soaked and fermented. 1 pound is about 2.5 cups. So when you ferment it, it's going to be about 3 cups. So I need about 6 cups of rice going into this pot right here. See if I can find a 1 cup measurement. My 1 cup measurement has sour cream in it. Look at that. All right. There's a moth inside my house. Spring is here. All the bugs are out. I've been picking ticks off the children. It's been lots of fun. I was doing school with Graceland today, and 3 ticks were found in the 45 minutes of school, so on her. So no good there. Hello, moth. You want to die, don't you? You want to die. You're going to die right now. There you go. Onto the floor you go. Moth has been successfully killed. We've been leaving open our door on our house because it's like so warm in here in the morning. And so we would try to cool the house down before 80s because we don't have an air conditioner in here yet. So trying to cool it down a little bit. All right, so this basically, we're gonna add some seasoning here in just a second, but this is gonna come up to a boil, and we're just gonna cook it. And we'll reduce it to a simmer and then cook it for about 30-ish minutes, depending on the rice. Oh, Sharon, for some reason I couldn't add a chat until now. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't know. I tried to get on this YouTube live 3 times tonight. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but it's not very nice. All right, then this last ingredient that we're gonna add before we boil it is taco seasoning. I do have a video up on how to make your own taco seasoning. It's a lot cheaper than what you can buy inside the store, and it doesn't have MSG. So that's up here on the channel. It's also in my cookbook, which is on sale right now, guys. Really screaming good deal. The link's down below. All right, so we need a tablespoon. How about a half a tablespoon? All right, we're gonna be adding 2 tablespoons, but once again, I'm doubling this recipe because it's really good and it's going to the neighbor. Like I said, this is a half a tablespoon, so don't be freaking out. There we go. The other thing I like about making your own taco seasoning is you can like totally tailor it so it's not very spicy. My kids don't like too much spice. I love spice. Love spice. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon, I mailed you some sourdough starter, right? Did you get that yet? Pretty sure I sent that out Saturday? Was it Saturday? Anyway, let me know. It was you that ordered that, right? I think it was. I've had so many orders come in. It's just nuts. I can't keep them all straight. Not yet. Okay, so it's still coming. I did mail it, though. It's coming. I promise. You're going to love Frank. So I wrote on that like little cute little envelope, but the directions on how to rehydrate the sourdough starter are in the link when you go to order the sourdough starter. It's right down in the description. I just put it right there so nobody can lose it. I've thought about doing like an instant download, but then if you lose it on your phone, you don't have your directions. So anyway, you'll have to let me know how you like them. I love my sourdough starter. I've got sourdough starter and kefir grains available for anyone who's interested. The links are down below along with my cookbook. There's also meal plans down below. I know a lot of you guys are busy. Meal plans are a great way to save on money because you can buy stuff in bulk because you have a plan. All right, so while this is simmering, I'm actually going to start on a second meal. If you guys want to stick around, that's awesome. I'm going to be making chicken enchiladas for the neighbors. I'll just let the camera play until there's nobody here. I'm going to reduce the heat because it's up to a boil now. So we're going to go into a simmer. And I'm just going to put my lid on. I'm just going to make sure I stir this, probably every 5 to 10 minutes at the most. I don't want the stuff to burn down to the bottom. Let me think about this. I could switch burners. Let me switch burners. All right. It's hot though. Hang on a second. We're going to be making creamy chicken enchiladas, which is also in my cookbook. And they make an amazing freezer meal. I'm going to be making them for a new mama. So that's going to simmer, guys, for 30-ish minutes. I've already got this hot, so let me put my pan over it. Okay. Do I want this pan? I'm not sure I want this pan. I'm going to shut that off for a second. So the recipe is in my cookbook for the creamy enchiladas. On page 80, creamy cheesy chicken enchiladas, okay? So as part of this recipe, you have to make cream of chicken soup. So we're gonna make that first. That pretty much takes the most time in this entire recipe, so it's a pretty quick recipe. So let me think, what do I wanna make this in? I'm thinking the homemade cream of chicken soup is also inside my cookbook. Just debating what pan to make this in. Cream of chicken. It'd probably be okay just to make it in here. We'll just make it in here. Preheat over medium. Okay. Gotta put another marker in here. I didn't know I was gonna make 2 meals live tonight, but it's kind of fun. While this one's simmering, then you guys can see that meal when it gets finished. Let me give it a stir. All right. Yeah, I know I dropped some liquid on you. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna make homemade cream of chicken soup right over here. So the first ingredient is 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Open up another jar. Reusable canning lid right there. To the rescue. Okay. 1/2 cup of chicken broth. I'm going to add a little bit because it kind of steamed off there, okay? All right, then the next ingredient for homemade cream of chicken soup is going to be a thickener of some sort. My recipe book calls for 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to go get some sprouted whole wheat flour, and we're going to thicken this up with that. Okay, gotta grab some milk. This is our farm fresh goat's milk. We are going to be making soap, goat milk soap. And I'm probably going to put some of it into the store just to see if anyone has any interest in goat milk soap. Okay, 1/2 cup of milk. I'm wondering if I'm going to want to double this. I'm going to double it. A little bit of extra sauce never hurt anybody. And nobody wants enchiladas that aren't swimming in sauce, right? So I'm going to add another 1/2 cup of broth. There we go. Don't you wish you were my neighbor and you just had a baby? Because I'd totally bring you some meals. All right. Okay, so then to this, it says chicken in the original cream. It's another thing I love about my cookbook. You get it wet and you wipe it off and it doesn't soak into the page. Cream of chicken soup calls for chicken, but I'm going to skip that since this is going to be going in and on tortillas. So we're going to go ahead and add, it also calls for 1 teaspoon of celery salt. So what I'm going to be doing is 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to want healthy salt. Let me add the 1/2 teaspoon celery seed. Actually, I'm doubling this, so 1 teaspoon. Okay, so healthy salt is colored salt, and the reason why that's healthy salt is because that color are all the minerals your body needs in order to utilize the salt properly without causing things like swelling and other issues. That's why white table salt's a big no-no. All those minerals have been stripped, so basically you're just paying for what's left, which is salt, with nothing that's beneficial to you. Next ingredient is onion powder. Now, here comes a true life moment. Look what happened again, okay? So we're just going to estimate this, because I got to crumble it right into here. This is the reason why I typically buy onion granules and garlic granules. But they were all out of stock, so I went with powder. And we'll see, this continues to happen in my kitchen because I store all of my spices above my stove. And it gets kind of moisture filled up there. All right, next ingredient is garlic powder, 1 teaspoon. Okay. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once again, healthy salt. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and thicken this up. It's already simmering good. I'm gonna need a whisk. I'm gonna need my sprouted wheat. You could also use cornstarch, anything like that, okay? So I'm gonna start out, because I doubled this. This is a half tablespoon, guys, with 4 tablespoons of sprouted whole wheat flour. You can buy sprouted whole wheat, or I have a video on how to sprout wheat berries. And you would redehydrate them and then grind them up with your mill. So depending on what your situation is, you can totally make your own sprouted wheat. It is rather expensive to buy already in a flour, but if you only use it to do things like thicken stuff, it's not too expensive. This is my home ground sprouted flour. I grind it all up and then store it inside the freezer. Okay, this is going to thicken up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip back. Hey, Rhonda. It's been a while, hasn't it, Rhonda? It's been a few weeks, I think, since I've seen you comment. You were missed. You were in my mind. Jackie, would organic cream cheese work? Yes, absolutely. Organic cream cheese would be delicious in this. Okay, I'm going to pause this recipe. We're going to go back and stir the stuff in the back, all right? If I can touch it. A little hot. Hang on. All right. So this is still simmering back here. I'm going to add my chicken last to this because my chicken is already cooked and I don't want it to like shred into tiny shreds everywhere. All right, so I'm going to flip back to the creamy cheesy chicken enchiladas on page 80 of my cookbook. The link is down below for the cookbook if you're interested. All right. Don't worry, nothing's on fire, guys. It can't get that exciting here. Well, I guess it could. That happened with my Thanksgiving meal. Okay. Or was that Christmas? I don't know, I made a peach cobbler and it lit on fire, so that's kind of exciting. All right, I'm just trying to clear stuff off the counter since I've got 2 meals going at once. It's a little dirty and crazy up in here. Okay. This is plenty thickened, so I'm going to remove it from the heat before it burns. Okay. Now, before I bring this pan on the screen, no judgment, okay? I'm using aluminum foil. I use aluminum foil to take meals to people because then I'm washing my dishes and returning them. I don't typically choose this for myself, but I also know that when you're postpartum and you're taking meals, you don't really want to have to worry about doing dishes. So, we're going to go ahead and do aluminum. All right, I'm trying to get everything situated here. Be patient for a second. I'm going to move you guys back just a little bit further so you guys can kind of see. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we need some cooked chicken, which I have over here. Hang on 1 second, guys. Just draining my cooked chicken here. All right. So I already have cooked chicken. Obviously, you could saute some chicken too, but you need it to be cooked. All right. I'm gonna grab the tortillas. I went ahead and just bought store-bought, you guys. Once again, this is not a meal going to me. Some people don't like sourdough. Some people don't, don't mess with it. You know what I mean? Okay. I don't know how I'm going to fit all this on my counter. We'll go like this. So each tortilla is going to get a little bit of chicken right in the center. Okay, a little bit of chicken right in the center. I'm gonna get, let's see which I get, tablespoon, maybe a smaller like little cup for this. Just gonna drizzle a little bit of sauce down the middle. Cream and chicken sauce. Okay, I'm gonna grab the cheese. Let's see. My neighbors only know I'm bringing one meal, so this meal is going to be like a complete surprise, so it'll be good. A little bit of cheese. Gonna roll it on up. I think it needs a little bit more meat. Hang on. You don't want these to be too skinny. Okay. Okay, and then into the pan it's gonna go, just like that. I'm gonna grab down another jar of canned homegrown chicken, just in case I need it. And I really feel like this thickened up just a little bit too much, so I'm going to add just a little bit of broth. Because we still want it to be pourable. Grab my whisk. That is the one thing that's so cool about making your own, is like if it's too thick for the recipe, you can just thin it on out. I'm going to stir this recipe over here again. Okay. How's it doing? Okay, I think it needs a little bit more broth. There we go. It's one of those situations where if it was out of a can, I'd probably add milk or something to thin it down just a little bit. All right. And they just have a little family. It's like a family of 5 with a little baby, so this isn't going to be a huge meal. 8 little enchiladas. This is our meat we grow on our farm. So that's nice and nutrient dense for that mama. All right. That's better. Okay, cheese. Let's see if we can't fit 8 into this little pan here. We'll find out here in just a minute. Steaks sound good, Jackie. Do you eat like onions and stuff with it too? Okay. Rhonda says, oh, Julie's on here. I am missing everything. Hang on, y'all. Okay, Rhonda's here. Yay. Okay, Julie's here. Hi, missed you from the beginning. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm doing well. Just very, very busy. I'll watch a replay too. Sharon says, can't wait to try this. Rhonda says, yes, you two kept missing lives too. Yeah. So Jackie, it's not their first. This is their 4th baby. And she had it this weekend. And their dog, okay, so this neighbor is amazing. When we got hit with that really bad storm, many of you guys were with us last year, a year ago. We got hit with a really bad storm that broke several of our windows and took down a whole bunch of trees on our farm. And we had a ton of damage. And he was one of the first neighbors to just show up. I've never met him before because he just moved to the neighborhood. To show up and say hi and introduce himself and say, is there anything I can help with? And I said, well, our greatest need is there's trees down, but not all the way down. I'm afraid it's going to fall on a kid, so all the kids have to stay inside until the trees are at least laying on the ground. And then the other need was standing back up the kids' huge play set because it had been blown over. And so I said, okay, give me 30 minutes. And he left, and when he came back, there were more neighbors with him with chainsaws and his tractor, and we got the playset stood back up and all of the trees cut and laid on the ground and limbed. in like an hour. So that was pretty epic, and it was allowed my husband to focus on being able to replace the windows that were broken on the side of our house, which is kind of important to not have your house open to the elements. So anyway, this is kind of my way of being like, thank you so much for, you know, helping us like in our time of need. Like, that was amazing to have a neighbor just step up and be like, I know I've never met you and I just moved here, but how can I help you? And it was really appreciated. So we live in a nice spot with nice people, nice neighbors, and it was so cool to see the community come together and help us. So my house was almost all the way fixed after that one day, except for one window that was on back order for like 3 months. If you're after windows, you guys might as well just order them now, because if you want them by next year, I tell you what, there's a line. I'm going to open up this jar of chicken. This is the other thing I do with my homegrown chicken when we go to butcher. And I do usually use Tattler lids with these, but I actually ran out because we had such a huge harvest from our orchard this year. I used all of my wide mouth lids on apples and such. So, but anyway, I also can up a lot of the chicken. I'm going to stir our other recipe that's still simmering, you guys. It's amazing to have neighbors like that just step on up. All right, I'm going to stir this. Okay. The rice is getting there. Okay, we've got 3 more of these to roll. Then we make it look pretty on the top so people want to eat it. Another cool thing about and if I would have been thinking, I would have done this, but the juice from home canned chicken makes amazing cream of chicken soup. Puts a ton of flavor into that soup, you know, the gravy type stuff. It's like right back here. Amazing. My cookbook also has a cream of mushroom and cream of chicken recipe inside the cookbook under soups. Those were actually the first 2 things that I learned how to make from scratch when we were trying to change our lives and get away from processed foods. Those were the first 2 things that I wanted to learn how to cook, because a lot of the meals that I made, a lot of the casseroles had the cream of soups in it. And so I knew I had to find a way to make them and learn how to make them so that we could still have the meals that we loved. And so that was one of the first things that I learned how to make. And you can make that in a big batch and freeze it into like little 2-cup measurements, which is what you typically get in a can. Sometimes, depending on the consistency that you make it here into the pan, it may come out a little bit chunky when you thaw it. So just make sure that what you're putting in there is smooth and not chunky cream of soup. But typically I would make my own tortillas and all of the stuff. But like I said, I don't know this family very well, and not everybody is open to like homemade tortillas or I'm gonna dump some of this in there. Or sourdough. Not everybody likes that flavor. So I'm just playing it safe with store-bought tortillas. Okay. I just used that other spoon for that recipe. I'm going to have to wash this one off. Hang on. Because then I'll be saying, where did I put my spoon for this other recipe over here? All right, we're going to go ahead and dump this on. I might make another batch of sauce. Okay, where'd my cookbook go? Here it is, it's buried. All right, hang on. I'm also only going to be adding 1 can of diced green chilies tonight because I don't know, you know, when you first start breastfeeding, you don't want to be like giving too spicy a food. So I'm going to just create I should have mixed this with the green chilies, but I forgot, so. We're just going to doctor it up like I meant to do it here. I also should have added, let's see, 2 cups of sour cream to it, so we'll add that now. So wondering why I didn't have enough sauce. That would be why. It'll still taste good. How can it not with that much sour cream? Good thing they're not dairy intolerant. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Julie, if you're still on, I did start your daughter's book. Have not finished it. I have this really bad habit of starting books in the late spring, and then, well, growing food for my family starts. I've got meat chicks coming in less than 2 weeks, and in the beginning of this video I talked about how I started planting my garden and such already, so yeah, it's just gotten kind of crazy. This also needed some taco seasoning. It's a good thing I stopped. I slowed down and stopped. Once again, I'm going to go a little bit light on the taco seasoning because I don't know how they handle spice. I might taste it. I want to see how spicy it is. But I'm probably the wrong person to taste it because I love stuff to like burn my lips off. So, all right, I'm just going to pretend like I have my children's taste buds. I think I'm just going to add a little tiny bit more of chili powder. Not very much, because I would hate to be the person that takes a meal and she ends up having a baby with colic because she ate something that's spicy. There we go. I'm going to stir the rice in the back because it's sounding like it's cooking down over here. Oh yeah. We're thickening up now. Okay, I gave it a good stir. I'm coming back over for this one. We're going to finish this one off here. Hi William, how are you, buddy? You good? Doing good? If you give me a few minutes, we can have our milk together.
Okay, yeah, milk. I like milk.
I know, you love milk, don't you?
Okay. Milk. I love cow milk and goat milk. Yeah, I like both of them.
You like both of them? That is fabulous news. Thank you for letting me know.
I like goat milk and...
Who's your favorite goat?
Lily.
Lily? You like Lily the best? Yeah.
Hi.
YouTube caused my phone to overheat, so I threw it into the freezer. Anyway, I'm back now. I don't know how many of you... Oh. Why is it causing my phone to overheat? I don't know. That is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah.
It's probably going to keep telling us my on. I don't know why my phone is overheating. Rhonda says, I'm going to be trying your egg layer feed recipe in a week. Yay! Yes! That's awesome. At 8:15, you'll have cooked it for the half hour. Yes, the rice is almost finished. And Jackie says, hi, William.
Hi.
All right. So while you guys were gone, I finished topping this, and I put cheese on top. I'm just going to put aluminum foil and tell them to bake it at 320 for 20 minutes. Super easy meal.
Hey, Coco.
What? Yes, we'll do some milk. We're gonna wait, see if people come back.
Why?
Well, you and I can get our milk ready, but just so you know, I don't know if anyone will come back because the phone said that we were overheating. So I had to go into the freezer for a few minutes.
Why?
I'll get us some milk while we wait. Would you like some milk? Oh, good. Somebody's back. Say hello.
Who is it?
No, in the phone. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. I'm going to remove our meal from the heat. And then William and I are going to do some milk. Just a minute, buddy. Just leave right there.
No, I'm going to do it for you.
I know. Just a minute.
Hey, I'm going to help.
Sorry, you guys. I'm so glad you guys are jumping back on. I've never, ever had this happen before, but apparently my phone was being overheated by YouTube. I don't know. That's what the box said, that YouTube was causing my phone to overheat, and so it shut it, locked me out of YouTube until my phone cooled down. So I put my phone in the freezer. All right. So the rice is pretty much cooked. Okay. We're going to let it soak up the extra liquid, which it will do when I put a lid on here. You know what we're going to do first, though? Let's add our sour cream, buddy.
Okay.
Okay. While the phone is not overheating for whatever random reason.
Yeah. I don't want to
Overheat? We don't want it to overheat, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. People will be gone again. That would be sad. I'm also going to add my canned chicken, which in the single recipe is 3 cups of already cooked up chicken.
Yeah.
So 6 cups for me.
Heavy. What are those roosters?
Yeah, this is chickens and meat birds and all sorts of stuff. All right, we're going to do our milk in just a second. Okay, buddy, I just realized that this chicken is big to go right on in there. Got some big chunks, see? So we got to cut it up.
If you don't cut it for one.
Well, if we don't cut it up, then somebody's going to get chicken and somebody's not. And that would be a sad thing. The neighbors would say, oh, wow, they gave us a whole bunch of huge pieces of chicken. So we're going to cut it up so all the people can have chicken instead of just 1 or 2. Does that make sense? Oh, good, William.
Hey, could you get out and stop?
Okay, I think the rest of it is shredded pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to stir this and incorporate it on in. I'm going to put the lid back on, and this rice will absorb the rest of the liquid as it sits. And then, like I said, half of this is going to my family, and the other half is going to the neighbors.
Hey, I got
as a great postpartum meal.
I got half it off.
Okay, you got the lid off? Okay, we'll have our milk in just a second.
Got off this point.
I know, you're a big boy. Okay, Mama's going to put the lid back on, okay? So this doesn't have any heat on it, you guys. It's just going to sit with a lid on it so that the rice can absorb the rest of the liquid. Okay, so now it's time for William and I to have milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready?
Yeah. One.
Okay, here we go. We've got, hang on, I'll pour it. Because I love excitement, but I don't know that I like that much excitement. So,
I
okay.
can do a big jar to I can do a little jar.
Yeah, this is a half gallon. So which one would you like? The one with more milk?
Like a lot of milk.
Okay, a lot of milk. He wants the more full one. Okay, so what do we have to do before we drink it? You remember?
Yeah.
We gotta clink it. Ready? Clink. Okay, now you can drink your milk. Is that good?
My teeth like
Does it taste a little bit like a goat?
my teeth like cow milk.
Oh, okay. Here, why don't you come this way? Put your milk down. I'm gonna check the comments. Turn that way. Then they can see your face. Because you're handsome, see? And you're drinking milk. Okay, so Jackie, everybody lost me. I've never had this happen before, but I all of a sudden had this like box appear on my phone, and it said that YouTube was overheating my phone and that my phone was going to lock me out of YouTube until it cooled off. How's the milk, buddy?
It tastes like cow milk.
Does it? Even though it came out of a goat?
That
You want to wipe your face off? There you
It
go.
tastes like it come out of cow milk, but then they come out and
So I put the phone inside my freezer, so that it could cool off quickly. And I tried to come back live, but then it wasn't happy then either. So now we're back, and it seems like the second time in the freezer was enough to cool my phone off. There. Look at that. 2 meals done in 1 hour, you guys. Isn't that crazy? Because this one is done cooking.
yeah.
It's probably just going to sit here for like another 10 minutes and finish absorbing the liquid. But it is. It's almost done already absorbing that liquid. Now, you're going to want to salt this to taste. Because the recipe doesn't have a ton of salt already in it. And I know there's lots of people out there that are afraid of salt, but if you're using colored healthy salt like pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt or real salt brand salt.
I can put this up in the cake.
How about we let it finish absorbing the liquid first and then we'll taste it, okay? If you're using healthy salt, it will magnify the flavors of your dish, okay? So don't fear salt, especially if it's healthy. So other than that, that meal's done, and so is the other one. So that's awesome. Okay, so final notes on the live, other than a cute kid, would be...
Hey, do you drink more vacuum your cup?
No, I drank all my milk.
Okay.
Do you have more milk in yours? Oh, you do? Okay. So final note would be, as I said before several times in the live tonight, the cookbook is on sale. Really good deal right now in celebration of the Weston A. Price Foundation writing a book review about it. So the link for that's down below. There's also links for any of you guys that are looking for tooth healing things. Cod liver oil, emu oil, liver capsules. That's all down below in the link. I also have meal plans available down in the links. What's in there? Oh, the Soleil salt water rocks to help remineralize your teeth enamel. That's down below. My mailing address is down below if you feel like sending me something. That'd be awesome. And my email's down below. It's all down below.
We're done?
I think we're done. Was that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing.
You're on the screen. Yeah, people can see you. Okay. All right, so thank you so much to Jackie and Rhonda and Julie, and I know Kathy's probably watching. Who else was on the live? That's going by my memory. Sharon. Sharon was on the live. Hang on, it hasn't popped up yet. It's going to let me cheat. Rhonda. There he said Rhonda. All right, I think I remembered everybody without even looking. I'm scrolling. Oh, Missy was on for a few seconds. Thank you for jumping on. Welcome to the channel. But thank you for joining us tonight, you guys. The milk is gone and dinner is done. So I'm going to let you guys go. All gone. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. You're silly.